Hey, longtime listeners, this is Shades here to tell you about our sponsor this week. It's you, our longtime listeners. If you would like to actively support this show, you can head over to our Patreon, patreon.com/shadesansketch. We are looking for 10 subscribers to kick in $30 a month so that we can keep this show on the air ad-free, free of things that you don't care about and we don't believe in. So once again, that's patreon.com/shadesansketch. Thank you so much to all of our current patrons, and we've got a lot of cool stuff coming to you over on the Patreon very soon, season 2. Now on to this week's episode.
Oh, hello. I'm Sketch.
And I'm Shades.
And this is
Geeking Out with Shades and Sketch.
Part 2 of our big
Star Wars season 2 spectacular.
There was a Shades and Sketch in there somewhere too.
Yeah.
Awesome. Welcome back, guys, to more Star Wars talk. Because you just can't get enough of it. And you know what? There's not enough people out there talking about Star Wars.
I know, right?
You know, it's like going way under the radar, and no one even knows these things exist anymore. But so glad you joined us back. Every time you join us in a different corner of the Geeking Out multiverse. This week we have moved from Octo.
We have.
We finally got a little gas.
Turns out, force-sensitive trees make great fuel.
Great GoCo fuel.
Great GoCo fuel.
And so Shades and I, after being stranded
For it seemed like forever.
for so long, a week.
Yeah.
Roughly. We have landed on
Navaro.
Another planet in the Star Wars universe. But we're laying low. We're
our subterranean
hideout.
Sewer hideout.
We have been in an alarming number of sewers.
We have.
Like, we always say the GoCo could go anywhere, and we have been.
We wind up in a lot of sewers.
Many effing sewers. But this sewer also happens to be a Mandalorian secret hideout.
Yeah.
So if we're in a subterranean sewer Mandalorian secret hideout, that must mean
we're talking about
the Mandalorian. Disney Plus's, I guess it's their flagship show. Yeah, I guess it is.
I still love the idea that Disney Plus had to launch without The Last Jedi and 6 Marvel movies.
Yeah, I know that. I can't speak for the Marvel.
They haven't gotten all of them
The Last Jedi was on there when I had my
it came on at the end of my.
Yep.
They still haven't gotten Solo. I don't think they want it. Netflix can have Solo.
Me. I liked it. It was fine.
I enjoyed it.
This isn't the Solo
episode. This is the Mandalorian.
If this is the Mandalorian episode, part 2 of our Star Wars Spectacular, do we have a theme song?
I think we do, Sketch.
It's a pretty good one this week, too.
Yeah.
So Star Warsy.
Yeah.
It's such a Star Wars.
It's very Tarantino-esque to me.
Mm-hmm. Or like I said, it's very reminiscent of the Westworld.
I've only seen the pilot on a flight.
Oh, it's so good. But this isn't the Westworld episode either. This is the Mandalorian.
Meh. No, Mandalorian. Love Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Westworld. Meh.
What did you see? Episode 1 of the first season?
The pilot, the original.
Oh yeah,
it's the only thing I've seen.
With Dolores.
Yep.
Yeah.
Meh.
Yeah. Oh, what a payoff at the end of that season! Holy. Anywho, if we're talking Mandalorian, we are going to spoil, obviously, Mandalorian if it hasn't been spoiled for you already. And then after we talk Mandalorian, we're gonna get back into some
of the
Star Wars
galaxy as a whole.
So this will nicely round up and put a nice little bow on our Star Wars discussion, so we can get into some other things.
Yes,
you gotta talk Star Wars
while it's fresh
if you're geeking out.
Yeah,
but we got a lot of stuff on the docket.
Yeah. I think also we'll have a future Star Trek episode.
Yeah, we'll have to.
I'm hearing mixed things about Picard.
Oh, mixed things. I haven't heard anything about Picard other than it came
I've
out.
heard some mixed things.
Mandalorian, do you have
Mandalorian.
a history?
I do, Sketch. I'm glad you asked. History.
Mm-hmm.
A live-action Star Wars series entered production in 2009 with over 50 scripts written by 2012. But they were deemed too expensive to produce. Rumored to have been called Star Wars Underworld, talks continued through 2013 and the acquisition of Lucasfilm by Disney. More details emerged through June of 2014 when it was announced the series was dead and that it would have followed Boba Fett. In 2017, while filming the photorealistic remake of The Lion King, writer-director Jon Favreau pitched what would become Mandalorian to Kathleen Kennedy. She introduced him to Dave Filoni, who was also working on a Star Wars series, and in their initial meeting, Filoni started doodling what would become The Child. When shooting wrapped for the day on photorealistic Lion King, Favreau would stay late in his office and work on his secret Star Wars project, which he would only share with Filoni.
General.
Sorry?
General.
I'm
just getting that.
Oh.
I'm getting that vibe from
Gotcha.
the two of them.
Sure. Disney officially announced the series on March 8th, 2018, and a second season is already written and production is underway.
The
Mandalorian. And so it was filmed very quickly. Jon Favreau, while he's the creator and head writer, didn't direct any of the first season episodes. He has said that he will be taking a more active role in season 2 because he was working on Lion King.
Mm-hmm.
But there was no shortage of great directors in season 1. Taika Waititi, Bryce Dallas Howard, Dave Filoni, a couple other big directorial names.
There you go.
Maybe in season 2 we'll get a Joe Johnston helmed.
Maybe
episode.
We will. Maybe.
But man, Jon Favreau.
Just knock him out of the park.
He does a Marvel movie. He births the cinematic universe. He works on a Star Wars series, and he gives us The Child. He decides he's going to make a sports movie and gives us The Replacements, arguably one of the greatest roles Gene Hackman has ever played.
You lost me at sports movie.
You never saw The Replacements?
You said sports movie.
It's actually a really great movie.
Ugh. Centers around sports. Is it one of these movies that really makes sports look like a good thing?
Yes.
Ugh.
But it's a great movie.
Ugh.
I mean, Gene Hackman plays an amazing role, and he plays this just insane character who breaks is just a mangled, bloody mess.
Mm-hmm.
He basically plays an Incredible Hulk-esque character without the strength of the Hulk, but with all of the desire to smash. Keanu Reeves is in it. It's great.
What's the sport?
Football. And yeah. But I mean, it's a great movie. Chef, did you see Chef? You would love Chef.
No, I didn't see Chef. I've heard about it.
So good.
Yeah, I would like Chef.
You would love Chef.
Yeah, I think it's on Netflix.
It is.
Yeah.
And they made a chef show afterwards where the inspiration for the movie, and he continued to cook. It's kind of like his old show. Remember Dinner for Five? Do you remember his show Dinner for Five?
Yes.
And it's basically like that, only instead of eating the meal, they cook the meal.
I will definitely watch Chef.
Chef show.
I will not watch
The Replacements. That's fine.
Ugh.
It's old.
How do you make a sports movie worse?
It's
center it around football.
Sure. It's basically Major League only with the football.
Okay.
It's funny.
I did see Major League.
It's funny. I mean, it's Jon Favreau. It's very good.
No, yeah. I just
but it's
care.
A football movie.
I care nothing of the.
We don't do the sports ball guy. But I'm just saying, Jon Favreau doesn't.
Oh yeah, no. I'm sure he put out something great.
He does great.
He does great things.
Work. He's a great writer. Not my favorite director. Certainly enjoy his directorial work. I think his 2 Iron Man movies are far better than Iron Man 3. And I prefer his directorial style to the Russo brothers. I think he's a better writer and storyteller than their combined efforts. I greatly enjoyed. I would have loved to have seen a a J.J. Abrams directed Jon Favreau story for episode 9. And that would have been just dynamite.
Yeah, give us that.
I mean, maybe we'll get a trilogy yet.
There's always going to be trilogies.
I know.
If you listen to part 1, which you really should have.
Yes.
Like,
if you're jumping in at The Mandalorian,
this is honestly a continuation.
You're picking
of
up
our
in the
discussion.
middle of the story, which maybe won't work out so bad.
We're going to subvert your expectations because this is part 2.
Heavily.
But I am on record, permanent record in the airwaves forever of saying that Mandalorian
was a
is
return to form.
The best Star Wars that Disney has offered us yet.
Did Disney bring us Rebels? I think they did.
They did.
It's live action Star Wars.
Sure. So related though, and we're gonna get there.
Yeah.
This is really more just a continuation of that story.
If we don't see Sabine Wren in season 2, I mean,
we're gonna get there, guys. We're gonna get there. Do you have the all important internet source?
I do. IMDb gives Mandalorian season 1 an 8.8. Rotten Tomatoes critic score 95.
Oh.
Fan score 93.
Wow.
Metacritic 97. Google reviewers 97%.
Yeah.
I gave it a 100.
There you go.
I fucking loved this.
Yeah.
I had nothing took me out of story. I have 0 rants.
All right.
Do I have questions? Yes.
We're gonna get through it.
Do I have some
somewhat? I'm so
reservations?
Curious. Oh, reservations.
Sure.
I gave this, not that you asked, but I gave this
What'd
movie.
you give it, Sketch?
Thank you. A 97.
97?
Effing loved it.
Really? 3% rant?
Yeah. 3% rant. I think that's fair. 97 is effing fantastic. And all it is one little tiny rant, which I'm surprised you didn't have, because you've said this rant for other properties, which I felt like this also did. But anyway, loved it. Like you said, true to form. It brings Star Wars back to what makes Star Wars great.
Puppets, Westerns.
Yeah.
Serialized adventure.
Yeah.
I mean, Star Wars was spawned by serialized, Flash Gordon, and we've gotten a serialized adventure series, and it's very much a Flash Gordon character.
Do we have like a synopsis of this?
I didn't write one.
I also didn't write one.
A lone gunslinger travels the wasteland in a post-Empire galaxy, kicking ass and taking names.
Yep. Adopting the
child.
The child
in the code
and also
of
the code of
the
Mandalorian.
And
it's just that. It's just him
and the bringing clarity to what Mandalorians are.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mandalorians, for those people not that know,
are not a race.
No, they are the warriors that Jango and Boba Fett have stylized their existence and their armor off of.
Right.
And they
not Mandalorians.
Not Mandalorians.
They've just stylized their armor off of it.
But they are Mandalorians are explained very well in both the Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels.
So, yes.
In fitting with other series, this continues the stories that you might not recognize from the movie universe.
Yes.
But if you've been following along with the series, this fits right in.
Yes, it does.
Real nice. Like a little puzzle piece.
It's Jango and Boba, not Mandalorians. They've just stylized themselves.
Definitely not Boba.
Right.
I don't
Django was a Mandalorian? Doesn't seem
that
to
would
be.
have been Clone Wars. Well, okay, we're gonna have to look that up.
Yeah.
Because he is before, he exists before the downfall of the Mandalorian, so it's possible.
Right.
We'll have to look that up.
Yeah.
We'll have to. He's referred to as a Mandalorian,
He is,
but it's by other people.
Maybe he's just from Mandalore.
He doesn't follow the creed that is deposited in this movie.
But
also neither do the people in.
Yeah.
Guys.
But it's entirely possible.
We're getting there.
It's entirely possible that the religion and the creed only comes into existence after the purge.
It's very possible. Okay, let's get into this. Right?
Sure. Let's do it. Fucking awesome.
So that we could talk about the big ones, the biggies. Okay. Let's start with raves
Sure.
because I only have one rant and you have none.
Okay.
So that'll be quick later.
Great.
Go ahead. Take one.
The cast.
Cast is great.
Great fucking cast. Pedro Pascal, the Red
Awesome.
Viper.
Awesome.
You know him from Game of Thrones, the Red Viper. Nick Nolte. Man, Nick Nolte. His what was that character's name?
I don't know actors, so which one is Nick Nolte?
He is the I Have Spoken.
Oh, I love him.
Yeah.
The Ugnaught.
Ugnaught. Sure.
I don't remember what his name was, but he's the little Ugnaught.
Yeah.
That's the
your
race.
people wrangled the great beasts of Mandalore.
Yeah.
You can't ride a whatever those things were.
Yeah, he used to be like a tactician for the Empire.
Yes.
He
was a slave.
He's one of those little creatures that helped build the carbonite chamber.
The carbonite chamber,
for in Empire Strikes Back. He's one of those.
Mm.
And the girl, what's her
Gia
name?
Carano, and she was did they name her? I don't think so.
Yeah, she had a name in it.
Oh, but she was in the Battle of Endor.
Yeah, she was
an
a
assault
rebellion shock trooper.
Shock trooper, yeah. And Carl Weathers.
Is that the bounty hunter guy?
He was like the guy who ran the town and handed out the pucks.
Yeah, I liked him.
Yeah, he was Carl Weathers.
He had a nice
he was like he had a great journey, and he was like classic Star Wars.
Yeah.
Which is but he's never been in Star Wars before, but he brought that classic Star Wars almost campiness, but not quite, to the role.
He was God damn it. There's no way for me to say this without sounding like really racist.
Uh-oh.
But he really
I'm glad you're saying it.
He felt like Lando. Like this charismatic character who like you don't know if you can trust, and he was a little over the top. You know, like when you meet Lando in Bespin the first time,
very much over the top.
Like the very first time you meet Lando,
those capes,
and like he's just a little beyond the way a normal person talks. That you're like, I don't think I trust him. I can trust this character. So he brought that in.
He did
real nice. Whereas like you knew Mando's like you knew all of his convictions,
right? You never knew where his character was going to fall.
What way until the very end,
right?
Even at the very end, at any moment, I was ready for him to switch a room.
I'm glad he didn't.
I'm also glad he didn't,
because I think that's a solid cast. Going forward.
Yeah.
Taika Waititi was IG-11. He was the voice of IG-11. Directed a number of episodes. Emily Swallow as the Armorer.
Mm-hmm.
You know her from she voiced Lisa Tepesh in the Castlevania animated series. This may be the best cast assembled in anything in a long time.
Was she also under the armor?
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome.
She actually, she is also not just a voice actor.
Yeah. Because she has some action. She has some choreographed.
You've seen her on screen. If you are a fan of Supernatural, which I'm sure many of our longtime listeners are. Have you ever watched Supernatural?
No, I've been recommended many times, but it's like daunting.
It is 15 seasons.
Yeah, so it's like I can't even.
I've watched it all. The last 5, I'm not sure why, but I've watched it all, and this is going to be the final season. So Emily Swallow, you know, as she is Amara in the Supernatural universe, the sister of God, Chuck.
Interesting.
Praise be to Chuck.
All right.
D-bag.
Never seen it.
You should watch it.
I think you'd really like it. It's huge. Like it's overwhelming
monstrous.
To even
on
think of it. The issue is not the accessibility.
You'll burn through it fast. The first 5 seasons are that good that you'll burn right through it, and then it's just like, how do they keep going? And you'll burn right through it.
Just keep in mind that I have about an hour a night to watch stuff.
I'm just saying.
And
you'll burn through it in a similar way that you burn through.
Getting a lot of geeking out homework lately.
I know, right?
Yeah.
You'll burn through it in a similar way that you went through Doctor Who.
I did enjoy Doctor Who. I had a lot more free time back then.
Yeah.
Though. Like right now, I could watch an episode a night. So 15 seasons. How long would that take me?
Years.
Yeah.
It's 22 episodes. Well, I mean, you can go through there. I mean, there are great episodes that aren't connected to the overall plot, but there's a lot of filler. There are like key stories that you can watch from each season and burn through it.
I hope you guys are excited to hear us talk about nothing but Supernatural for the foreseeable future.
Oh man. What was I talking about?
You're talking about the cast.
Oh yeah.
They're great.
Sorry. Yeah. They're fantastic. I mean, it's
Oh man, when Gus shows up at the end, I was like, did not see that coming. I don't know his actor name because I don't know actors. But
is Anthony Giancarlo? Yes,
sure.
Anthony Giancarlo, Moff, whatever his name is.
Yeah, he's great.
Who led the siege of Mandalore?
He's just awesome.
And has spoilers.
He has the Darksaber.
Has the fucking Darksaber.
Oh my god!
So last time we saw it, Sabine Wren has the Darksaber.
Yeah. So what has happened to Sabine?
What has happened to Sabine?
I don't know.
Did she join the Empire? Is that why they're called the Knights of Ren? I mean, I don't know. I want to know. He has the fucking Darksaber.
They wouldn't have put that in the last
if
moments
they
of
weren't
the season.
gonna
They're not going to tackle that next season. So I'm looking forward to
Holy
finding
shit.
out. And if they don't tackle it next season, that will be
a big disappointment.
Rant.
Yeah.
Okay, I will.
How did I not include him there? Yeah, Giancarlo.
Say,
I think it's Anthony Giancarlo.
Because you've pretty much gone through the entire cast at this point.
Yeah.
So I will say, no, it's not. It's cool that it's
the evil.
Yeah, the evil Emperor guy.
He was great.
Yeah, I believed him.
Loved his German accent. It was perfect.
Yeah, it fit.
It did.
It's evil.
Yeah,
I got it. Poor Germans, like real life Germans. It's so sad.
I imagine it's tough to be German.
Yeah, we just like
still
we still use that accent to just be like, oh, okay, I get it. That's character development for us. I understand this character's morality. That's unfortunate. And Germans, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I enjoy your country,
but I'm a product of this media too. It's tough. Anyway, this kind of peppers into what you said about the cast. It being like a nice small cast.
But it didn't feel small.
No, it didn't feel small, but this was not like a Star Wars movie where it's like, let's throw in more people and more people.
This rando character that shows up and has cool armor and we learn nothing about them until we get backstory released through books.
A nice,
it was very well
concise story and cast. And my first rant is that the galactic conflict is the setting and the backdrop, not the main plot point of this series. So
I love that he wouldn't take Imperial credits.
Yeah. And it's very much it brings us back to A New Hope, because A New Hope, even though it's Star Wars, it's the story of Luke.
Right.
And all the characters in it are, even Leia and Han, they are secondary to Luke.
Yes.
The conflict of the war is not
the central.
That's not the central plot point of the series.
Which all of Star Wars seems to have been focused on since Disney bought
now
it.
It has turned into the conflict, and
To be fair, it's called Star Wars.
Yeah, sure.
But
one of the things that was so great about A New Hope is that it's just the setting for Luke to grow up.
Yeah.
It's the backdrop to Luke's
I don't need to
journey.
know the inner bullshit workings of the rebellion.
Right. Like we get it.
Yeah.
They're good. Empire's bad. Empire used to be British. Now they're German. So that's how you know.
Yeah.
They're bad. And
well, the Republic was British.
Yes.
And now the Empire is German.
Yes. And the New Resistance is a little bit of everything.
Kind of Irish.
A lot of aliens. I like that there's a lot of aliens now
in the Empire,
and everything.
I'm thinking Hux. I'm thinking General Hux.
Oh yeah, well you already heard part one. Yeah. He was murdered for being a whiny little bitch.
Not help. I don't care if you win. I just want Kylo Ren to fail.
Yeah. We didn't talk about that. I liked the reveal that he was the mole. I'm like, cool, we're gonna get something with Hux. Then it was like, I just want him to lose. And it's like, oh no. And I thought it was going to be revealed that he wasn't the mole,
right?
And that he was just saving his own ass. And then the big guy who
he was the mole.
He was the mole and killed Hux as his scapegoat. That's what I thought it was going to be. But that's probably thinking a little too hard.
Pew, pew.
Yeah, and I just like that the backdrop was just a mess after the war, the aftermath.
The
I mean, we don't know exactly when it takes place, but it's obviously
very close,
very soon after the fall of the Empire.
Fall of the Empire,
because there's still plenty of Imperial tech that is still functioning.
Yep. And we meet a rebellion shock trooper.
Yep. And we see in one episode there are X-wings, and there's still the conflict era of X-wings.
Yep.
Like it's it's very new, and the world is, the Empire wasn't defeated, and everything goes back to rainbows and
Right.
butterflies, and everything's great. Like,
It's kind of a shitstorm.
yeah,
Good job, guys.
Some
way to replace it with nothing.
soldiers don't once their army is defeated, don't just immediately go, well, I guess we're
Time
done.
to go home.
They
all became
keep
mercenaries.
fighting, and then you also see a flip of that in the rebellion.
Yeah.
In that, like, oh, war's over.
War's over.
I don't have a job anymore. What do I do? It just handled it really well.
It did.
Just handled it really nicely. Did you have another rave? We're on raves.
Wasn't that my rave?
No, my rave was the galactic conflict.
Oh, sure. The way the story progressed, unfolded, and resolved, or did it, in such a satisfying way. Here's where the shortcomings of the new trilogy really became apparent. When you have something with a beginning, middle, and end, ? But it, a true cliffhanger in the sense that most media no longer has true cliffhangers. This is not the mystery box style of writing. It's the antithesis. This had a very clear progression of the growth of this character over the course of the first season, of having no sigil and having no, he had no name, he had no reputation. And by the end of it, he has no clan. And he gets a clan of 2 by the end, and he now has purpose.
He was an orphan who literally all he had was the creed of the
Mandalorian.
And it was enough to get him through, and it was enough to help him survive. But he didn't have the kind of the fulfillment of a clan, the connection, and it was his journey of uncovering that in an unlikely place.
Right.
Yeah. It's great. What do you call the antithesis of mystery box writing? Is it just writing?
I think it's just writing.
I mean, like, because
good.
I feel like typical stories.
I think you call that good storytelling.
Sketch. Stories just have a
beginning, middle, and end with a climax, and sometimes a resolve, and sometimes a cliffhanger.
Yep.
And I mean, we could just end there.
Yeah.
We've left questions. If they weren't going to do a season 2, I would say, oh, okay. That was a cool little reveal.
Yeah, I mean, I would be not bummed, like the whole... but I wouldn't be like, "What? You can't end it there." There's so much left unanswered.
It's not like the ending of the Marvel TV Defender universe.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, so you give us the Darksaber ? We could you could go back and tell that story in something else, but it's if we left Mando at this point going off with the child,
I'm happy.
Yeah. Like, I feel like he went on an adventure. He grew. He learned.
Yeah, I agree.
Bing, bang, boom. We're done.
Yeah.
And just if you listen to part 1, I said that it felt like we left Rey in the middle of her story. This could have been the end of Mando's story, and I'd be fine with that.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. No, I agree.
He's fulfilled the creed. He's closed the loop in his cycle. He was a foundling who was raised by the Mandalorians, shown kindness, who grew into this life, who becomes the greatest of all Mandalorians, and then comes across a foundling who he adopts and will now
continue the cycle.
Great. The student has become the master.
And it doesn't just benefit the foundling.
Right. It benefits him as a complete person. Done. Loved it.
I'm
excited that we're getting a season 2. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Just to piggyback on that, I mean, it was such a wise decision that Mando is a foundling, that he's an orphan. And he's been adopted into this. Because we got to understand the religion, as he calls it, a lot better than if it was just someone who was born into it and this is just always how it's been. He is so much more convicted into this.
He's a fanatic.
Yeah.
And, this is all he has. And more so than any of the other Mandalorians.
And having us be the audience and him being our anchor point, it gives us everything we need to know naturally throughout the story progression, without just exposition.
Yeah, I mean, this was really a go on the journey, watch it unfold, as opposed to a lot of Star Wars has become just exposition.
Yeah,
literally text on the screen at some points, and sometimes characters just telling a story.
Mhm.
This really was visual storytelling.
Watching the story.
Watching the story
Watching the
unfold.
primary source.
Yeah.
I will say, one of the things I really liked that just kept tugging at my heart, that this series brought back like alien creatures, like alien animals back in a way that I always loved in Star Wars, which has been missing.
Yep.
It's been missing even since the prequels. Like
it has.
And these animals that they created and brought back, because the Dewback was in one of the episodes.
Dewback was in one of the episodes.
But like, I felt once again like they were there.
Yep.
They weren't just dressing. That was added later with a computer.
Right.
And let's put a Ronto over here with a Jawa, and
right.
let's put a this, that, blah, blah, blah. Like, these were creatures that were important to the story.
Yeah.
What's his name, who we can't remember, but the little Ugnaught and his little two-legged lizard creatures. Yeah. And the rhino, obviously, the giant furry rhino. Like, these felt like when you watch back the old trilogy and you like see a bantha for the first time, and you know it's just an elephant with a big thing on top. But it grounds it into reality. Like, I know it's not real,
right? But
it feels so much more real,
right?
Even if it looks worse than a perfectly
rendered bantha. Yeah.
And these did both. They looked great, but they're also like physical and a part of the scenes and a part of the interactions. And it was
strong agree.
It was something I didn't realize I had been missing.
Right.
But then when I got it back, I was like, oh, that was one of the missing pieces.
That was the same episode with the Jawas.
Yeah.
It was nice
to see Jawas.
To see Jawas,
like,
and
they are stuff, and not just being like a little nostalgic blip.
Goblins.
Yeah, no, they're horrible.
They are horrible creatures.
And you feel better that they were massacred in A New Hope.
It was justified.
Justified massacre.
Yep, justified massacre.
Yep.
They will just strip you naked and leave you dead in the desert.
I was obviously, because it's the point, but I was so sad that his ship was so just stripped to nothing, and then so impressed that they got it back
flying again. Yeah, that was, maybe that it wasn't enough to take me out, but I did say there's no way that thing went back together.
There's no way he could have done it without the Ugnaught. He needed his technological Thank goodness. For many reasons, thank goodness.
This is the way.
I have spoken. I have spoken is a great one to use.
It is.
All the time.
Yeah, for everything.
Everything.
I have spoken. See?
Do you have another?
I could just go on for days. The reveal of the child.
Sure.
Can we just talk about the child? Spoilers?
Yeah, we've already said spoilers. We said spoilers back in episode 1.
People continue to refer to the child as Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
And we know virtually nothing about Yoda, and we know nothing about the child except that he's a Force user, a strong Force user. The Force is strong with the child.
He's about 50 years old.
He's 50 years old, but he's basically a baby.
Yeah, because his as we saw with Yoda, his species can last till 900.
900.
50 is a
We have no idea what their aging cycle is like, but apparently, he will be matured at 100 or maybe 200. I don't know. I don't know how they age or what their life cycle is like. I don't know what he is, but he's the same species as Yoda. Is he a clone? Is he naturally occurring? Are there more of him? I don't know, but
that's the mystery.
He's a wonderful little puppet creature. There's a great Jon Favreau recently, maybe it was Dave Filoni, I can't remember which one, but one of them posted an image of George Lucas cradling the child.
Aww.
And it says grandfather and grandchild.
Oh, that's cute.
It's a really touching picture. Yeah. I don't often find George Lucas endearing in any way, shape, or form, but this was
no, that's touching.
It was touching. And just the whole story around it that when he's the progression of this, when he comes back to the subterranean sewer hideout that we are now in, and he's talking to the armorer. I was saved by an enemy.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, why did you do that? I didn't know it was an enemy at the time. But really, like my code was a contract. It was an asset. He completed the job. He took payment. And then, this is the breaking point. Fuck the code.
Yeah.
I'm a foundling. He's a foundling. This is wrong.
Yeah. Yeah,
I need to save
it
him.
was an important point in his story because he breaks bounty hunter code
Yes.
to uphold his
Mandalorian code.
Yeah. And
Yep.
You get the impression that until this point they have run parallel to each other very
yes.
nicely, and this is the first
breaking
time
point.
where he needs to choose
Yep.
one way or the other.
And it was so well done.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. It was such great writing and storytelling
And
when you
acting,
see it,
because keep in mind he is in a helmet.
He is acting through a helmet.
Time.
It's
and you get his thought processes when he's being silent and just sitting in his ship. And he finds the ball.
The shift lever that he gives, he keeps taking it from him for the whole series, and then once he lifts off, he gives it to him at the end.
It blew me away that he could portray what he was,
emotion through a helmet, completely shrouded.
Yeah,
and to his credit, never takes it off.
Yeah,
even when they do the set photo for the cast, he wore the fucking helmet. The only time he takes it off is when he needs to be healed. Mm-hmm. By IG-88, IG-11,
and there's a
big reveal.
loophole,
because
the IG-88 is
not.
He's not alive. Is not alive. So
okay, so it works.
Okay, sure.
And it's just the growth of the character to not trusting droids and not tolerating no droids on his ship. Mm-hmm. He won't be driven by a speeder that's controlled by a droid. To then mourning IG-11.
Yeah,
when he does finally sacrifice himself. Just such growth and storytelling,
and developing a clan,
and yes,
on his own. Whereas he's a part of this organization, using the word loosely, but he's not.
He's not.
It's very lonely.
Yep.
He's an individual of solitude,
right?
And to do what his code,
right,
has brought him to, which is a combination definitely of his Mandalorian beliefs, but also what happened to him before he was a Mandalorian. Right. His personal code solidifies and cements. That's a great story.
It is, and it's yeah.
I agree. Well, to continue what you were saying about the kid, I just, it was such a wise decision to have the kid use the Force, but so sparingly.
Yes.
And to have Mando, and really most people that they interact with, unfamiliar with the Force. I mean, we haven't had that since
A New Hope.
A New Hope, where the Force
ancient weapons
is still
and Hokia
religions. This mysterious power.
Yeah.
And this child, the child wields it.
Right.
So there's no explaining it or anything. And all there is whispered rumors.
Right. Oh, I've heard about this.
Yeah. Oh, the ancient text.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. No, it's just a great way to bring the Force back to be this mysterious entity.
Right.
And not something that we really need to dissect and talk about prophecies and mini-chlorians and we're going to get there.
But Force using Mandalorian. Holy shit.
Yeah. In this, it was perfect for the story.
I hope we do a little bit of a time jump so that the child is older.
A little older.
To
get him older, we'll have to do a bit of a time jump.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know how they age.
You think they age rapidly and then stop?
I don't know.
Yeah. We'll see.
We'll find out.
We'll see. There is no pre-established information. It can be whatever. It can be whatever he wants.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you have any more raves? Because I have one more rave.
Why don't you go?
In a way that Disney has seemed unwilling to do so, this series finally refused to ignore the previously animated series and actually used them.
Yep.
Because
strong agree.
The prequels obviously had a strong connection to the Clone Wars series. I mean, that was the whole point.
Right.
Then Disney collects Star Wars, cancels Clone Wars, and makes this new trilogy and
ignores
everything. But we can't ignore the fact that it happened.
Right.
And
so Rebels seemed to
tried to tie it together, but definitely not much
Pops.
Not much with the
right.
prequels.
What's his name? Pops.
Wait, who? Rex?
Rex. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Rex's pops.
it did bring it back, and then we got Ahsoka
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So it definitely tied it back to particularly the animated series.
Right.
But
In live action.
this was
Full on embrace.
it's full on embrace.
You know that Jon Favreau's a fan of the series.
We were using it to be, I mean, it's the conflict that orphaned Mando in the first place. And
Right.
we flat out see the super battle
right.
droids.
Yeah.
That could have been anybody else.
Right.
And I feel like if it was somebody else's decision to make this, it
Right.
just would have been unnamed villain
Right.
attacking the town.
Darth, whatever.
But we're
Grand Moff,
sure
someone.
Yeah. But we're taking
They are specifically
they're using it on
the
purpose.
separatist droids.
Yeah. And I appreciated that because there was when the new trilogy chose very succinctly to completely distance itself from
The prequels.
that was a decision, and the prequels get a lot of slack, and there's a lot of places where they should.
Justifiable in many places.
But there's
yes.
also a lot of cool stuff that we just let's not toss out the baby with the bathwater
Right.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
And this
See what
series
you did there.
I just say I throw out the kid.
Yeah.
And this finally kind of recognizes that.
No,
like,
there's some good stuff there.
and those things happened, and
Yep.
the galaxy is still reeling from.
Right.
There are
Two
still
galactic
consequences
wars,
of that
yeah.
war, not just the last
The
war
last
that we
war
saw.
before. Yeah.
So I liked that.
Yeah, I agree.
It
Strong
was
agree.
it was very refreshing.
Consequences.
Yeah,
We don't
consequences.
often have to deal with the consequences of what came before, even within the Star Wars
Mhm.
Skywalker
Mhm.
saga, let's say. That was probably the best aspect of Rogue One, the consequences.
Consequences.
Um,
Lots of consequences in that movie.
yeah, and I agree, strong agree, without belaboring a point.
I gave Rogue One a hard time, and I'll continue to give Rogue One a hard time. But it was on TV the other day, and it is a visually stunning scene when the X-wings attack the facility,
Yeah,
through like the canyons.
Yep.
That was quite beautiful.
it was.
Credit where credit's due. That's
Yep.
what I got to do. All right, should I do my one rant?
Please.
And it's so minor, like it's so teeny tiny minor. Like I made my score first, like.
But
nice.
you think I should have had a bigger
Well,
reaction? I can't even imagine
I'm
what you're
just
thinking about.
surprised because you've talked about this with other things, and I myself felt it that at times it could feel a little episodic, like there was filler with only 8 episodes. And I'm thinking specifically of the Prison Break episode and the Bounty on Tatooine, because where they go with Bill Burr to get out the Twi'lek prisoner. It's the one where the X-wings show up and blow up the facility.
What the fuck? Did I skip an episode?
Maybe. There's a whole episode where he like helps a crew break a prisoner out of a.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. I know what you're talking about now. It's the crew that he used to run with.
Yeah. And
his love interest is there. Yeah.
What I
and the
wrote
X-Wings show up
was-
and yeah.
I said you could
I
argue.
loved that episode.
Oh.
That was such a great episode.
It's a fun episode.
And then he traps them all on the ship, and then he throws the tracking device, like the beacon on the ship that got away, and they blow.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was
fun.
For me, that
fun episodes, and I get that you could call them
wow.
character development or like world building episodes, but as far as the story, like
in 8 episodes, sure, I get. I found that episode so important to like. I found that episode so important to his overall character, and like us learning about like who this character has been, like, and when we meet him, he's a Mandalorian fanatic.
Mhm.
Hasn't always been. When we meet him, he's like the galaxy's greatest bounty hunter.
He was
hasn't always been.
He was when he ran with that crew. He was a Mandalorian.
He was a man, but when he ran with that crew,
because they mocked his like religious beliefs and everything. So like they were very used to him being.
I got that they mocked his religious beliefs because he was clearly involved with that woman, and
who
in the crew,
the Twi'lek. Oh, I didn't get that at all.
She was his love interest.
The Twi'lek? Huh.
The sister of the guy they were breaking out.
Yeah.
She was his love interest. They had a history. She had seen him without his helmet on.
She had?
That was the implication that I got. And I am, longtime listeners, write in if I am dead wrong on this. Clearly, I didn't remember the episode when we started talking about it. But from what I understood, he ran with this crew, and he was like, he was a hypocrite essentially because he talked a good game about his code and his religion. However, he was into this girl, and when it came to her, it all went out the window.
Oh, I did see, and I did not get that.
That was my takeaway.
I did not
that
get
when it
that.
came to her, he had a lot of exceptions to it. Like they made fun of his this because when it came to her, he didn't stick to it.
All right.
So that my understanding was that he was a hypocrite at that point.
So
and
long time listeners have to write in because one of us missed something.
Yeah, one of us missed something. And when he leaves this crew is when he like go, all right, I'm a Mandalorian.
Yeah. But and
which is why he leaves them. And is what I took away from it. And
this is a minor rant, but
I'm putting it out there that I might be 100% wrong.
And I'm still gonna defend it because we've knocked other things for this kind of thing. Where like that episode ended,
didn't bother me.
And I didn't understand Mando like any better. Like he had already committed to when the second that he went back to rescue the kid.
Right.
I got it.
Right.
He left his old life behind. He left bounty hunting behind.
Yeah.
And then we got an episode where he's back in bounty hunting. But let's reinforce. It was an enjoyable episode, and I liked it. But I know we've knocked other things.
We have
so
knocked other things for it, but
I
think it was. I didn't feel like filler to me because it felt so important to like his character, because I felt like that was when he ran with them, he was a Mandalorian, but he was a mercenary. Not even a bounty hunter. He was just a mercenary.
What
about his break with them set him on the course to being a bounty hunter.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's come to a point in his life where above all else, he's a Mandalorian. And this is the line in the sand. This is the first time he's had to make a choice.
Okay.
Between like mercenary, bounty hunter, Mandalorian, what are you going to be?
Mm-hmm.
What's it going to be? No more running.
And then what about, because other episode...
And from this point forward, he never fails again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Except after he essentially dies and the child...
Technically didn't take it off because in front
Well,
of
that's what I'm saying. Like, the child and IG-11 heal him. Technically, he didn't break, but I also read into that, like, you're dead.
Mm-hmm.
Like, your fight is over. You fulfilled your creed.
Mm-hmm.
He essentially got a second chance at this point.
Yeah.
Because from the time he leaves them and goes, and from that point, he never again, like he's never, he's defeated by just about everything he comes up against, unless he's helped.
Yeah.
And until he saves the child, he's never again defeated. In fact, he's like a one-man army from that point forward.
And
he's full on he's a true Mandalorian at that point.
And at
so
that
that's
point,
why I
he's
didn't consider
also
it.
accepting of help.
Exactly.
As well. But then there's the other episode too that kind of accomplishes the same thing with the bounty on Tatooine, with the other bounty hunter taking on the sniper girl.
That felt like 100% filler.
So it was just like, I was like, yeah, no, I get it. Like
that felt like filler to me.
So that's why I'm like saying like, okay,
it was just a fun episode.
They're fun. They're great. I'm just saying, in a time where you don't have to do a specific number of episodes, do you need to put those things?
It could have been 6 episodes.
Can you do it more succinct? It's minor. It's 3%, but it defending
didn't feel like filler to me.
Yeah, interesting.
Because I also saw that episode was he was trying to build a clan.
Which one?
He found a young bounty hunter who could not do it on his own, and he was essentially trying to build his clan at that point.
Well, that
backfired on him.
That little bounty hunter he basically blackmailed Mando into using like you have to do this kind of a thing. He
after once he makes the turn, when we first meet him, we think he doesn't blackmail Mando at first. Mando's like, I'm going to help you.
No, he blackmails him flat out. He says, this is Mando needs money.
Right.
They have no money.
Yeah.
He and the kid have
he
no
has
money.
to fix his ship.
And this this other kid. I almost call him a kid, but the bounty hunter kid is like, here's the bounty. We should go do it. And then he and Mando's like, well, I don't need you. I'm gonna I can do it. And the bounty hunter kid destroys like whatever the information is or whatever. He's like,
the holopuck.
I'm the only one who knows how to get there. So if we're gonna do this, we're doing it together. And he's like,
I didn't see that as
fine
blackmail.
It's like Mando didn't choose like, oh, I'm going to help you.
But he could have walked away at that point.
But he needed the money.
He could have gotten it another way.
Well, we're going to disagree on this one.
Okay. I think he could have gotten money just about any other way that he wanted.
I don't think the show was depositing that, though.
I do. I think there were other bounties to be had.
Okay. Interesting.
I think he allows that manipulation because at this point now, in his mind, he's building a clan.
Wow. Okay, strong disagree on that one, but okay.
Long-time listeners, right into the show.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I don't think that kid was ever meant to be part of his clan, even in his mind.
I think Mando felt for him.
All right.
Because it's clear he has no skills.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to die.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I think in his mind, like...
But he also has no qualm in killing other bounty hunters.
No, none.
So, like, I don't think he cared if the kid died. That bounty hunter died. He's moved on from bounty hunting at that point. But we're going to disagree on this one.
Yep. Do you have big questions?
Super simple one. Because all there are natural questions about where the series is going. But all we can is, should we assume based on this series that all species of Yoda species are force sensitive / fluent? Because now we've seen 3 of these and all.
Wait, we've seen 3 of Yoda species?
Correct. And all.
Who's the other one?
Yaddle. Yoda, Yaddle, and now the kid.
Who the fuck is Yaddle?
She's the female Yoda species on the Jedi Council in Phantom Menace. So she's definitely force sensitive because she's on the Jedi Council.
Blanking on that one. There's another in
Phantom Menace.
In Phantom Menace, there are 2.
There's 2 of Yoda species on
and her name is Yaddle?
Yaddle, yep. Yoda and Yaddle.
Does she have like a spiky mohawk thing?
No.
In the middle, like they're like tendril almost.
I'll pull up a picture right now.
I am like.
So it's a super simple question.
Floored that they're. Wait, so is this Yoda and Yaddle's child?
I don't know. I mean, the timeline doesn't seem to match up because Yaddle should have been dead a long time ago.
Who the fuck knows, like, what their reproductive cycle is?
Oh, I guess, 50 years ago could have been around her death. That's Yaddle. She's a real looker.
Holy shit! Sketch! This is Baby Yoda.
Oh, you mean like Yoda's baby?
Wait. How long is it between 3 and 4?
Episodes 3 and 4?
Yeah. 20 years?
A little less, because I think Luke is meant to be like 17 or 18.
Yeah, he's not yet
born
18.
At the end of 3, so like 17 years.
And then Force Awakens is 30 years after Return of the Jedi.
I say 30 just based on how much the characters we know have aged.
It is entirely possible that it's been 50 years since.
Yeah, it's legit possible. It could be Yoda and Yaddle's kid.
Holy shit, Sketch. Wow.
I mean, Jedi can't love, but can they procreate?
I think so.
I guess so. That would make Yoda such a hypocrite because...
Well, again, who knows like what the procedure is and how life is created in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, who knows?
It's not just canoodling.
But there is some canoodling.
As John Green would say, scoodly pooping.
Yeah. Because Hayden Christensen and Natalie Portman were definitely scoodly pooping.
They were definitely scoodly pooping.
Yeah. In a real creepy way.
Real creepy.
Like, ugh.
George Lucas is a creepy motherfucker.
Yeah.
Oof.
George Lucas is married, right?
Yes.
I wonder what that courtship was like.
Fucking weird.
Yeah. Probably was already
Bizarre.
Successful. So, I don't know. Maybe it's Yoda and Yaddles. But I guess my big question was, are we just depositing that species, which is still unnamed?
Is just like super
they're all just force sensitive.
Yeah.
The way like all air nomads are airbenders. Like
all
just
air nomads are airbenders. Yes.
Like there are no non-bending air nomads. Are there no non-force sensitive Yoda species?
Sure.
Seems to be pretty innate in them. Yeah. That's an easy one.
Easy question and answer.
And here was another easy one, super light. But on the first planet where we're ever on, that snow planet, right? Like the icy planet, right?
Where the Western bar shootout takes place.
Yep. And then they have to go get the ship.
Yeah.
And everything. Why do they make the ships park so far away?
Good question.
Yeah. I was thinking about it, and the only thing I could think of
Probably
is
to prevent bounty hunters from doing what he did.
and I was also wondering if the whole planet, if there is
It's
no
just ice.
solid,
Yeah.
and that
That's where the ice
creature
is thick enough.
seems to be attracted to
Ships
ships
taking off and landing.
So maybe if they were too close to the
Yeah,
town, it
they'd
would eat the town. Maybe.
It looked fucking awesome though.
Oh yeah, I
Felt
mean,
bad for that guy
you
driving
knew-
the speeder.
I know, and that's that actor you've seen in like so many things.
So many things.
And I've always had the feeling like, oh, he's such a Star Wars nerd, and then I'm like, oh, he's in a
He's
Star
in the
Wars.
Star Wars.
Oh, he was eaten.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
no, and he was like a nice
He was.
guy too. He was like, hey,
Stay
make
off
sure
the
you get
ice.
off. And like, how poor
Don't
must
linger
he
on
have
the
been,
ice.
where like his job is mainly done by droids,
But-
and then it's like we'll keep you on staff
Oh, man.
in case
In
someone
case.
doesn't want a droid.
Right. In case Mando shows up and doesn't want a
Yeah.
droid. Maybe he owned all the droids. And he's actually like
Maybe.
crazy rich.
Maybe he's crazy rich and was like, I just want to go for a joyride.
No, and he only comes out when there's like somebody
Somebody who needs
douche who
yeah.
doesn't want a droid to drive them.
There you go.
And also, if you knew that thing was under the ice and could like pop out at any time, why the fuck would you drive?
Hey, he's like acting like he needed the money.
Right.
Like, oh, this will do it. This will feed
Maybe
me
he
tonight.
just loves driving.
Maybe he's like Vin Diesel, and it's just like the love of the road.
Family.
Yeah, everything's family.
Family. Family.
Yeah, you knew you were in good hands with that whole opening sequence, like in the bar all
Yeah.
the way to
Yeah.
leaving on
Oh.
the ship.
So good.
And his ship is definitely not my favorite ship.
No.
But like I appreciate
I
it.
appreciate
It feels
his
like a lived-in
We
ship.
often say I'm a sucker for a
Yeah.
good ship. That was not a good ship.
It's not
But
the
there's
ship that,
something I like
but
about it. Yeah.
I like how like the creatures. It
Yeah.
feels real.
It does.
I believe it. He goes
His
in the back. He
ship was
climbs
a
up to the
piece.
cockpit.
I like the bounty's like, oh, this ship box.
Yeah.
I'll pay for a nice transport.
And he basically has like a closet full of
Of
carbonite.
yeah, that was a great reveal.
Flipping through them like a Rolodex.
Yep, that was great. Basically, his ship is a flying toilet.
Yep.
There's a carbonite,
Mhm.
portable carbonite
Mhm.
chamber,
He's got like a weapons locker.
a weapons locker, and a shitter.
Yeah. And you know what? I appreciated that there was a shitter because we never talk about
We
that.
never talk
Like in
about
Star
it.
Wars. And
Oh man,
And it's long been my issue with like, listen, I love X-Wings. They're my favorite. But if you're doing
What do you
long
do?
distance, like
Oof.
you are not moving and
What do
they're
you
very
do?
confining.
they are
But
very,
I still love them to death.
Mm-hmm. They do not look comfortable to
They
me.
don't, but this series finally addressed the fact that like Mando lives in this.
Yeah,
Listen, I don't have like a fecal fetish where like I'm just so happy
He
that
lives
we're
on this
finally
thing.
talking
This is
about
his home.
This is like an RV. Like this is
right.
his.
Yeah. It's
this is his whole world.
It's the Eagle 5.
Yeah.
From Spaceballs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's why
It was the Eagle 5 from Spaceballs. Did you like that's what it is.
Oh, is it? That's all. Like
Yeah, if you look
it's
at the
just supposed
design,
to be-
it looks exactly like
does
the Eagle
look like
5.
the box with just the two wings and the big
Yeah,
engines on the side.
yeah.
It was like an homage, like a deliberate homage.
Winnebago with wings.
But just a little detail like that
Yeah.
is like that's all I need to know that he lives in this thing. This
Yep.
is his whole life. And when the Jawas strip it, it's devastating. He
Right.
has no other option.
Right.
That to track them down and disintegrate them. We finally see a disintegrator
Right,
rifle in
yeah,
action,
in
and it's
action.
awesome.
Fucking. What happened to that thing? Because he doesn't have it at the end. Because he gave it to the shock trooper, right?
Did the
She has it when she goes and attacks the walker on the swamp planet.
Yeah, I guess he handed it off to her. Well, is she the one that uses it in the final battle?
I wasn't in the final battle.
It's been destroyed at some point. And his
It
stuff
was fucking awesome.
and his stuff is like disposable too. It's not like godly. Like
Right.
his little dart things, he runs out of them.
Right.
His armor gets trashed by the woolly
Oof.
rhino thing.
Right after he gets it, it
Yeah.
has to be reforged.
Yeah, like it is disposable stuff in a way that you
Right.
expect stormtrooper armor to be, but you never see it like actually.
way more durable than
Yeah.
Stormtrooper.
Yeah. Yet we see the first rendition of it like junked.
Jump, yeah.
It was great. Good progression. Everything had a good progression. Even the
did.
ships and the gear.
It was cool to see a true Mandalorian with like completion that he had a full Beskar
Yeah.
armor. And then again, I saw that as like just taking one more dump upon Boba Fett.
Yeah.
His armor was garbage.
Yeah, it was.
Just garbage. He was a pretend Mandalorian.
I do. It was such a little thing, but I like that he didn't buy his armor. He melts down the
melts
money.
down the mo- he melts down money.
He melts
yeah.
down his
Beskar.
imperial thing.
Yep.
Yeah, his imperial bars.
Well, the bars were made out of Beskar from the Siege of Mandalorian.
Yeah, yeah, and that was his payment. So like it's
many people are saying that when he first walks into that subterranean hideout, if you bring up the brightness on your TV, Boba Fett is behind him. He walks past Boba Fett.
I'll have to rewatch that.
Did all of those Mandalorians from those first couple episodes die in the siege? We're led to believe, but maybe Boba escaped.
But I mean, not. Yeah, I mean the armor survived, so it's possible that others.
And they just took off their armor.
Yep.
And gave up the creed.
Could have.
It's not, they may not have died.
They might not have died.
They might have just given up the creed.
Yep.
Taken off the armor.
Yeah. Possible. It is.
But
possible.
Boba Fett never took the creed.
Boba Fett, where?
What are your thoughts on Boba Fett?
I was
Do you
never
have,
a
like,
Boba
the
Fett
fanboy?
fan. No.
Me either.
He was just another bounty hunter. He was just another character.
But
to me. He
also
was never...
like really ineffective.
Oh yeah, no, he was.
I don't understand why so many people have a hard on for him. He has a helmet and a jetpack.
Yeah, his character development was his appearance. Like
Right.
Everything was just an assumed he's awesome because
He has a helmet and a jetpack.
Yeah. And then there was like a lot of expanded lore that was
The expanded universe. Yes, he crawled
like
out of the. In the expanded universe, many people, when this report started coming out about the series, that he was not actually a Mandalorian, and that he was wearing Boba Fett's actual armor that he found, like outside the Sarlacc pit, because in old expanded, Boba Fett killed the Sarlacc crawled out of it.
Yep.
But then discarded his armor,
and I'm fine. I'm fine with him being dead.
I'm fine with him being dead.
And I'm also fine with it. I don't need a Boba Fett.
I don't need him to be. I didn't need a Boba Fett series, and when they were talking about a Boba Fett movie, I didn't need that either. And I'm glad this is what we got.
Which is why when this was originally announced, I was like, okay, that's fine.
Boba
but
Fett, I wasn't excited for it.
No, I wasn't excited for it. It wasn't until like people I know was starting to watch it and was like, you need to check this out. And I was like, all right.
I was like, is it a Boba Fett series? Like, no, it's not Boba Fett. I'm like, okay, I'll give it a shot.
Yeah. And it was spectacular.
Yeah, I agree.
It was.
I gave it 100, guys.
Wonderful.
I mean, so remember, you can write in, go with shadesandsketch at gmail.com.
I'd be interested to know.
Tell us what you think. Is Sketch reading the situation correctly, or am I reading the situation correctly? Or you can tweet at us. Go for Sketch. Go for Shades.
Or Facebook. There's so many ways.
You can hit us. Just write it. Let us know. What do you think? All 3,000 of you.
Woo!
Right in. I'm just gonna drop that right now.
This is the way.
This is the way.
Okay, well then that's a good time to jump back.
Thank you, long-time listeners.
Yeah, thank you,
Thanks for being one of our long-time listeners.
It's a good time then to kind of
transition into the
just the universe as a
Star
whole.
Wars.
Yeah, the Star Wars universe as a whole, in real life and the universe. Can I I didn't ask this in part 1, but let me ask you a question about this latest series. The latest latest trilogy.
Oh, okay. No bueno.
At the very beginning of it, in Force Awakens, and especially in the all of the what do you call the stuff that comes out before the actual movie? Not the trailers, but just like the
comics and the visual stuff.
And just like all the lead up to Force Awakens, it was heavily deposited that Finn was going to be the Jedi of this.
Yes.
And
yeah.
And because I mean, even in the first set of
lost
posters,
their shit.
Yeah.
At the idea of a black Jedi.
Yeah. And bad on you.
Bad on you guys.
Who cares?
Yeah. Who gives a shit?
Did you see the prequels?
Mace
Did
Windu.
you see Mace Windu?
Badass
and
motherfucker.
Also,
Purple lightsaber.
Everyone is a Jedi. Like,
Didn't seem to do any combat training with
Right.
a lightsaber, but still, badass motherfucker.
Also, if you live in the Star Wars, like, just think about it.
If
People.
you are a Star Wars fanboy, fangirl, non-gender identifying fan, shame on you if
Shame
you
on
had a problem with Finn being a Jedi.
But don't you feel like if you lived in the Star Wars universe?
Hold on, let me
imagine this. Can you imagine?
closing
this?
my eyes.
Okay. Makes great audio.
Imagining living in the Star Wars universe.
And
Got it.
And if
Okay.
you lived
Mhm.
with all of these...
I have a lightsaber.
Good. If you lived amongst all these aliens...
I use the Force not well, but I can.
Isn't race of your own species...
Who gives a shit?
Such a non-issue
Who gives
at
a
that
shit?
point? Like, oh, that person's a different color than me. That person
Is a robot.
Has 6 legs and
Tendrils.
and eats kidneys of my species.
Sure.
There's a clear delineation there.
Yeah.
So if
Do
you
not give.
if you were
two
upset
shits.
that Finn was if that it looked like the next Jedi was going to be black, that's on you. Sorry. But my question is, because they did lean into it a little bit in this movie, whereas they
Finn is Force sensitive.
they completely did away with it.
Ray, I need to tell you something.
Yes.
I'm Force sensitive.
What
My
if
safe word is apples?
what?
That's what I thought it was going to be, right?
My safe word is
Well, like that
apples.
he, Ray, I love you.
Oh, sure.
J.J. Abrams has said that he was going to tell that he's Force sensitive.
Yeah,
I don't
I thought it
understand
was
why
gonna
he
be the
wouldn't
Force
want to
sensitive.
say that in front of Poe.
Yeah, why that would be such a maybe he
Yeah.
thought it would distance him from Poe, or
Maybe.
like
We're both
sever their
Force
relationship.
users.
I don't know.
You just fly stuff.
But I just try to think of a world in which Finn was the Jedi.
He used a lightsaber
Yeah.
rather effectively in The Force Awakens.
And we know now that he is Force sensitive.
Right.
In a way that it kind of seems like that whole platoon of stormtroopers that are on
Also
Endor's
Force
moon are
sensitive.
also Force sensitive. But I don't know. I like to kind of think about that, like a thought experiment. Like what if Rey truly was nobody and she was just a scavenger and wasn't Force sensitive and she was following around this group? How interesting would it have been to have the Jedi of this trilogy be a former stormtrooper? Like,
Pretty fucking awesome.
that's and talk
That's
about
great storytelling.
and talk about then Ryan, you got your he
Right.
comes from
It doesn't-
nobody.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who you are.
That's
Like
a stormtrooper in the Star Wars universe is the definition of a nobody.
of a no. Yeah,
Just a faceless.
you're the red
cog
shirts of
in the
Star
machine.
Wars.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's where the most powerful
Yep.
Force user of the generation comes from.
Sure.
That could have been awesome.
It could have been.
Um,
Could have been. Not the direction they went.
overall, let down with where Finn ended based on where he came from.
Yeah.
Especially thinking back and
let
thinking
down
like,
where Finn ended from where he started.
Yeah.
In that
Yeah.
movie.
in this specific movie.
Yeah. Force Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah. I just like to think, well, what could have been if he had
I mean, the whole 7 through 9 trilogy.
Yeah.
Is a lot of hot air to me. I mean, it's the weakest of the 3.
it is all said and done.
It is
Now
the
that the
weakest
whole
of the-
thing is done.
To the point where I'll say like, didn't need it.
No, we did not need it.
We did not
Now
need
that
it.
now that it's done,
It didn't add anything.
we didn't need it. And
It didn't elevate the story
and
at all.
Anakin and the Skywalker saga had a much more fulfilling ending
In 6 than in 9.
It just feels like,
A whole lot of nothing.
digging up a corpse and trying to breathe some life into it.
If you look at, I mean, the only other thing that I can look to and compare it to is the Marvel Cinematic Universe,
Mhm.
first 3 phases.
Mhm.
Endgame is a much more fulfilling
Yeah.
conclusion to the story that they were telling than Rise of Skywalker.
Because it at least was the basic endpoint that they were always aiming for.
Right.
Maybe they didn't know all the details along the way,
Right.
but we at least knew it was going to end
We
there.
knew that this was going to culminate with Thanos' arrival.
Yeah. There was no way at the beginning of Force Awakens we were like, this is going to end with Rey being a Palpatine.
No.
and burying
and so
the lightsaber.
before I went to see it, burying the lightsabers and taking the Skywalker name. Nope, did not see that coming. I have a theory. I have a theory of where they thought this was going. And they had to twist it. My original, I may be wrong. Maybe it's a pitch please, maybe it's a sketchy theory. I believe that the original intention was that Rey was the daughter of Han Solo, but not the daughter of Leia.
Yeah.
And that Rey was born after Kylo Ren left. Leia and Han clearly split up over Ben.
What happened to Ben?
What happened to Ben. And Han went off and had a whole nother life.
Sure. Yeah. We know he did. I mean, we know that
he
happened.
did. That happened. And that whoever Han took up with was a Palpatine. Or was but that she was Han's daughter, but not Leia's.
Yeah.
But Leia became her surrogate mother.
And you could easily see that
and
in Force
I think
Awakens,
that's what they were setting up.
There is real recognition in Han's face.
Han seems to know who she is.
Whereas now you look back and you're like, there's no reason Han
that
would
makes
know.
no sense. There's no reason for him to like take her on the way that
he does.
And how the fuck did the Millennium Falcon wind up on that planet had Han not been there?
Yep. I know. I agree. And
so I believe, as much as people will say, oh, no, that was never the intention. My belief based on where this started, where it went, is that Han was her father, Leia was not her mother, and that she and Ben were half siblings.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the intention was.
But she was a nobody.
And then
a movie.
But Ryan decided, fuck you, everybody. She's nobody. We're gonna go follow Broomstick Kid. He's the real hero of the story.
The issue, because I did rewatch Last Jedi, and
here we are again. That was the intention. And people are saying, oh no, she was Luke's daughter. I don't think so. Based on.
I
Luke
never
Skywalker,
got that she was Luke's daughter.
And we get almost nothing from Luke Skywalker. But what I get who the fuck is this, and where the fuck did you get that lightsaber? Because I haven't seen it since Empire Strikes Back. When I lost my hand, where is that, by the way?
Yeah. And I really feel like Leia would have had more to say if she knew that she was Luke's daughter. Whereas being Han's daughter, what do you say? Which would have explained the kind of lack of explanation.
Right. And also the direction that it went with Han's death, she gets to be a mother to Han's daughter that could have been her daughter, that isn't. She's lost her son to the dark side, but she can pull Han's daughter to the light, and it's a way to hold on to. Yeah. And I mean, and then even in there are inklings that maybe survived from drafts or conversations. I don't know. Luke in Last Jedi does say nothing's ever really gone.
True.
What's that? Because Luke's clearly gone.
Luke's gone.
Yeah. Han's gone.
Leia's gone.
Leia's gone.
The whole Last Generation's gone.
Yeah. So
in watching The Last Jedi,
do you agree with that? That it was that was implied in Force Awakens that she was Han's daughter?
Yeah, and I
really don't understand anything he does if she's not.
I truly, based on their kind of interrogation scene, I really got a strong feeling that she and Ben had a familial connection somehow.
And I think that's why they went the Palpatine route, because that's really the only other way that you could have that connection between
them. And then
them.
But then it's like Ryan wanted to establish some sort of romantic.
Right.
So let's cut all familial possibilities.
Right. Except surprise,
we're going to do that.
They're second cousins? No. One. Second cousins once removed.
If you
First cousins once removed.
Now you haven't shared this theory yet with our longtime listeners.
I have not,
but you can if you want to explain the family tree.
Okay. In the new expanded universe, which consists of cartoon series, many comic books, and some novelizations, one of which is Darth Vader, and we saw his origin, but now we're seeing his life, the early years of Darth Vader, between what happens in episode
Between
3
3 and 4.
and and Rogue One.
Right, we do see him right at the end.
And what we see in the Star Wars Rebels. We go back to a real origin story in Darth Vader issue 5, 5 or 25. How many issues are there?
Well, you keep talking, and I'll
Okay,
look it up.
It's either I wrote it down and I don't know where I wrote it down because I didn't have this notebook yet. So in one of the issues, we get an image, and the comic confirms that Palpatine is Anakin's actual father. So in episode 3, we get the story, the Ballad of Darth Plagueis, right? Isn't that what he calls it? Or something like that. Or the story of Darth Plagueis.
Oh, you're talking about
episode 3.
Yeah.
I think he says the Ballad of Darth
or the
Plagueis.
Legend of
Darth
Plagueis.
In which, he was so powerful, he learned to actually he learned mastery over life and death.
He did.
And he could even create life because he could manipulate the midichlorians in the Force to create the perfect progeny. Palpatine learned it, killed Plagueis, and then we see in the last image of the last panel of this comic, Palpatine walking away from Shmi Skywalker, so that he is not just the spiritual father of Anakin, that maybe he manipulated the Force to create Anakin, but also is the biological father of Anakin as well. And it was always kind of like Hayden Christensen kind of looked like Ian McDermott. Yeah.
Yep, Ian McDermott.
Kind of looks a little like him. And certainly Palpatine became his surrogate father, but in this issue of the comic, we learn that he is actually Anakin's father.
I can't find the
issue number,
but it's a 25 issue run, so
it must be issue 25, the final one. It's the final. So if it's 25 issues, it's the final issue in which that happens. So Darth Vader number 25, where it's revealed that Palpatine is Anakin's father. So that makes Luke and Leia the grandchildren of Palpatine, and
Ben is the great
grandson of Palpatine. And Luke and Leia's father is Force sensitive, but their mother, Padme Amidala, is not. So they're only half powered. And so Ben is descended from a line of half Force users, right? If we want to, how Force sensitive is he? He's powerful, certainly.
Very powerful.
But certainly not as powerful as...
He's half of a half.
Yes.
Leia would have been half, and then
yes,
and then Han was nothing.
And Leia was already So so his power, the amount of midichlorians in his genetics diminish.
Yeah.
Let's look at the other Palpatine family tree. That Rey is the granddaughter, so she's a full generation closer than Ben. But my theory is she's descended from full Force users. That her parents and grandmother were also full Force sensitive, which is why we never see Ben pass anything to Rey. Oh, it's not true. We see him grab the necklace off of her.
He grabs the necklace off of her.
But Rey specifically passes things to him.
The
saber, the helmet, And so he says they're a dyad in the Force. Well, what is a dyad? They are two vectors. They're two lines of a triad that never intersect each other. And the triad is Palpatine to Ben to Rey, but Rey and Ben are the dyad. They're two parts of a triad.
Okay.
Or I guess they do intersect, but so they're the dyad in the Force. Those are two lines of a triad. They're two vectors. So they are two different lines of the Palpatine family tree. They are both his progeny.
Okay.
I don't think that's a theory. I think where we leave the story, I think that is very established. So the Skywalkers are just one part of the Palpatine family tree. And they are users of both the light and dark side of the Force.
Yes, they are.
And Palpatine clearly uses the light and dark side of the Force. He has Force projection, and he has Force sight, as well as this mastery over life and death. We've seen him use both light and dark side elements, as does, in the old expanded, Luke actually turns to the dark side, and clearly Luke is a dark Jedi. I mean, they kind of signal that he wears all black. He's that clearly influences him, and when the vision of himself that he fights is Darth Vader. Like, he becomes Darth Vader when he has his, come to Jesus Jedi moment. Are you going to embrace the dark or the light?
I read actually just today that in Return of the Jedi, it was intended that Luke's black ensemble was supposed to be
a callback to Anakin.
Well, the classic, that was supposed to be the like what a Jedi wore. But when they made the prequels, they decided to mold the look of the Jedi more off of Ben Kenobi.
Yeah.
Which does make more sense, because if he's hiding out on Tatooine, why is he dressing like a Jedi to be exposed? But they ended up molding the garb of all the Jedi Order. Because one of the things that's come out with this leak of what Episode 9 could have been was a lot of concept art.
Yes.
And in one of them, Rey looks very much like Luke did in Return of the Jedi.
Yes, and in the Colin Trevorrow script, Ben is never redeemed.
Yeah.
And he is the ultimate villain of this. And we get a taunting Luke Skywalker haunting him. Strike me down in anger, and
I could see that,
and I'll be with you forever. Especially where we left Luke
with Mark Hamill. Like,
holy
those
shit,
those being his scenes, those would have been awesome.
Batshit crazy, like Yoda-esque Luke Skywalker, who's like, I'm just gonna fuck with you, and you can't do anything to me. I'm more powerful than you can imagine.
In that concept art, there's also that Rey has a double-edged,
yes,
and that makes so much sense because we're a
staff fighter. Yep, it makes so much sense. Yeah. From what I've read of the Trevorrow script, I think it's better writing, certainly.
Yeah.
But I mean, I like I said, I'm happy with what we got with Force Awakens.
Happy with what we got.
So I believe with what we've been given, two different vectors of two different lines of the Palpatine family tree.
All right.
And that is, they specifically say that we're a dyad in the Force.
They do. That's a big thing.
It is. They make a big deal out of it, and that is what a dyad is. They're two parts of a triad, two different vectors.
All right.
It was great watching
so much that
your aha moment of like, oh shit.
Well, let me ask you this question, because
Sure.
this is my big question for the whole thing, and I think I already know your answer based on what you said in part 1, but has the prophecy of one who will bring Brown to the Force been fulfilled?
Yes.
And you think it's Palpatine?
I think we made the wrong assumption. Qui-Gon says that he's the chosen one, and Yoda clearly said unclear.
Oh yeah,
unclear
Yoda says no, or not no, but like I don't agree with you that it's him, and no other Jedi weighs in on it.
And we should have Yoda never lies to us.
Yeah,
we should have and we know that from Episode 5 and Episode 6.
Yep.
Yoda doesn't lie.
And
He speaks in riddles, but he doesn't lie. And Yoda says, I don't agree with you, and we should have trusted Yoda. I think the prophecy has been fulfilled, but the prophecy was about Palpatine. Not Anakin. Anakin and the Skywalker line, and then Rey's side of that is the balance to the Force. Ben is the darkness in the light, and Rey is the lightness in the dark. And together they complete and that is why they're able to pass. They have such this rare Force connection, and that is why Palpatine's able to bridge them in the way that he does.
Yeah, no, I agree that right up until that moment, when Ben and Rey, well, I guess it was mainly Rey at that point, when she finally dissolved Palpatine, with his own power,
and she has made a decision to walk the path of the gray.
Yes, when she does that, that is when the Force is the most balanced it has ever been in what we've seen to this point. But then
she has Force lightning.
At the end, she really seems to be embracing the light.
I agree.
Which unbalances the Force again.
Unbalances the Force again.
Because the Force will right itself by kind of creating a darkness. So it's kind of, it's as the last remaining
Force user,
it's her responsibility
to walk the path of the gray.
To keep the Force balanced.
And I think if we do get more stories with this character, which Daisy Ridley said she's done, doesn't want to do anymore. Never say never is what I say. It seems that she's embraced the light side, and so
it really does, especially because when you look in Last Jedi, her garb has shifted to a more gray, neutral tone. And then at the end of this movie, she's back to being an all light.
Yes.
Just a little choice.
I agree. But I'll also blame J.J. Abrams for that, because the footage they had of Leia had Rey wearing her garb from episode 7, so they had to make her go back to that.
But in that final scene, they didn't.
She could have been back in the gray. Yeah,
that's when it should have cemented the fact that she's.
But I'll say that for all the things I disagree with Last Jedi, it spends the whole movie telling us, like, let Jedi the Sith, let it all die.
Yes.
Let's both be gray Jedi.
And I agree with that.
And I agree with that as well. And then in the last 20 minutes of the movie, it rejects it and runs right back to the morality of everything that came before in the previous trilogy of light and dark. She clearly embraces the light, makes a choice. You know, I'm going to walk the path of the Jedi, and she's doing Jedi training in episode 9, where we leave her, even though it's a mashup. But I agree. She seems to have embraced the light. So, I mean, we're obviously going to get more Star Wars movies.
Yes.
That at some point. So maybe we'll see the rise of the next generation of Sith now.
My kind of final takeaway from the whole thing is that Disney should stick with series.
I agree.
They handle as far as the property of Star Wars goes.
Or they need a Kevin Feige-esque character who's going to be the arbiter of all. Yes, you can do this. No, you can't. Because Kathleen Kennedy doesn't seem to have a grasp on what's happening right now. And you know, we talked a little bit before we hopped on Mike. The news that's come out, it's kind of been walked back, but also kind of not. Obi-Wan series with Ewan McGregor had gone into pre-production. They had gotten pretty far along into pre-production to the point where they've done a new Long Way series. They're doing the Long Way Up, and we know that Ewan McGregor uses those opportunities to grow out his Jedi beard. So they did that. I've seen some photos of him. He clearly has an Obi-Wan beard, so we had to be close to filming. And it is on, the series is now on indefinite hiatus. There was some speculation that it was canceled. Ewan McGregor at the premiere of Birds of Prey, or doing Birds of Prey press. It's not, it's not canceled. We've just delayed a year. So they're gonna rewrite all of the scripts. And
Yeah, last thing he said was it'll start
pre-production again next
beginning of 2021.
2021.
Yep.
We ideally we should have gotten this Obi-Wan series at the end of 2020, but they're not starting production. So I mean, the series will come some point in late 2021 or early 2022. And that is very, I think, truthfully, Kathleen Kennedy scrapped the scripts, and said no, she wants another rewrite, which is what happened with Last Jedi. So I mean, it's like, I don't. Maybe like Mandalorian was so goddamn good that they want to it to mimic the style of Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Maybe this. I know Kevin Feige is on board. He's now creative consultant at Lucasfilm. You would kind of mentioned that Kathleen Kennedy's contract is up in 2021.
Yep, next year.
I would imagine she's out at that point. There have certainly been more bombs than successes with Star Wars under her tenure.
Yeah.
The prequel trilogy, I think that's disappointing. It's sad for me to say that. She's been with Star Wars since the beginning. She's been an executive producer on just about every Lucasfilm project. I think on every Lucasfilm project, right? She and Indiana Jones, not just she was an executive producer on Indiana Jones. So she's an original to this world and kind of like the last vestiges of Lucasfilm. In fact, that was his condition upon selling it to Disney, that she would that she would head Lucasfilm.
Wow.
He felt that he'd put it in trusted hands. But I don't see a way forward for her at this point, based on where it is. You've got Mandalorian, that's pretty goddamn successful.
Yeah.
Rebels was good. Have you seen Resistance?
I have not seen Resistance.
It's not good.
I didn't see it.
It's not great. It skews very young.
Yeah. It looked like it skewed young. The art style didn't impress me much, like the cell shading. And I don't know. From the first preview of it, with the plot didn't interest me at all. Maybe they've gone somewhere else. But
I watched the first 3 and it doesn't seem to know what the fuck it's doing or what it is, other than like pose in it. And it's like the new Resistance school, kind of. Not really. It's weird.
Yeah.
Not good.
I honestly have no interest to see it.
7 through 9, we've given I don't think we needed it. I don't think it elevated Star Wars. So I don't see a path forward for Kathleen Kennedy. And in my mind, I don't think they scrapped it because the scripts weren't good. I think this is Disney saying, you're here until 2021, but we don't want your fingerprints on this series. I think they're waiting until she's done and they can give it to Kevin Feige and let him run with Star Wars.
Well, we're not far away from finding out.
We're not. And there aren't any Star Wars movie productions going into effect until after. I think it's very interesting that everything that's been slated is now coming out after her contract is up.
Everything's been pushed off.
So I think she gets to ride, she's a lame duck head of Lucasfilm. They can't get rid of her, but they don't have to renew her.
Well, we'll keep you posted on our midstreams.
We will.
Because, there'll be stuff.
There will be.
Coming out.
Is there anything else you want to talk about Star Wars related, Sketch?
No, I mean,
Clone Wars Season 7.
Clone Wars Season 7
Are
comes
you excited?
out. I am, because that was a series that didn't get a finale.
Just got axed.
It's another one of those kind of weird things where I saw the trailer.
Yeah.
Which looks awesome.
It does.
But it looks like the big climax of the series is going to be a big duel between Darth Maul and Ahsoka. And we've seen Rebels. We know
they both go on.
Yeah, so it takes a little bit of that out of it, but I'm sure. I mean, I
do want to see that.
I do too, and I really love Ahsoka as a character.
Right. I think she's got a lot of mileage left in her too.
Yeah, I agree. And
do you think we'll see her in Mandalorian? I've heard rumors that they're going to bring her into live action.
Good. I mean, she is just a fantastic character in that she is a Jedi who we have watched have trouble with the Order and have to really, I mean, her big finale of the series to date has been that she
In
up and
Rebels.
left.
Oh yeah,
In
She's
Clone
like,
Wars.
I'm done. Yep.
Because the Order really screwed her over.
Yep.
And we're not seeing that.
But she became a Grey Jedi.
She basically became a Grey Jedi.
Yeah.
She
And we see her come
picked
back
up some
in
lightsabers, and she comes back in
Rebels.
as a
As-
force for that
yeah.
balance, a force for that
rebellion.
balance
Like
in the middle.
she has been the fulcrum.
Yeah.
That's her code name, but she's been kind of building this resistance.
Yeah.
Into the rebellion.
And
her final. I posited this, that when we see Vader at the beginning of Rogue One in his castle, that
he's licking his wounds from his battle with Ahsoka.
That's where he's been.
Yep.
He hasn't left it since Ahsoka trashed him.
Yeah.
And he
escaped.
That
was a great. Rebels had some great things. I want to do Clone Wars and I want to do Rebels at some point. It sounds like we're gonna have a break from current like Star Wars and we're coming out.
Yeah.
So I would love to go back and do some of these older things because
and Clone Wars started as an animated movie that was kind of forgettable,
kind of campy. I mean, it's definitely
and then the series built to really meaty stories.
I mean, the series tackled some pretty.
Do you remember the first
stuff.
Clone Wars series?
Yeah, the 2D animated one.
The 2D animated one.
Yeah.
I've heard an interesting theory about that the 2D animated was from the point of view of the Jedi, and the 3D is from the point of view of the Empire.
Interesting.
And I really like that.
I can see that. I can easily see that.
Because the 2D was very much darker and much grittier. And the 3D is always like very light and very campy.
Yeah.
Even when it gets meaty.
Yeah, but what the 3D one does so well is it's kind of the morality of the clones and what the war means for them.
Yeah, well it's the 3D series is essentially war propaganda from the Empire.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that.
It's just such a great series. And
the 2D is what actually happened. Like if you lay them out and the 2D is much shorter.
Yeah.
They kind of tell the same story.
Right. Yeah, no, they do. And just bringing Ahsoka in to anything is just smart.
Yeah, she's great.
As long as you handle her well.
Yeah.
And it's what I feel like I should before we end this episode and our Star Wars talk and everything, like a Grey Jedi, it has this connotation of being neutral. They're neutral on everything.
Right.
They're not. They just keep balance.
Right.
That's the key.
Yep. They don't cut themselves off from one or the other. They're not extremists.
And so Ahsoka shows back up in Rebels because the dark side is too imbalanced. There is nothing on the opposite side.
There is no balance. Yep.
And so she helps birth the rebellion to counter that weight.
You could look at it saying the Force is working through her to balance.
You could do it that way too. Yeah, and
a
Grey Jedi is
Ezra
like a vessel
shows up,
of the Force. Yeah,
and Kanan steps back into his role as Jedi. Man, what a great character he was.
It's a great series in total.
Yeah.
Ahsoka Tano. That's our big takeaway from Star Wars.
Big rave, Ahsoka Tano.
Disney, don't F up Ahsoka.
Yeah,
it will be unforgivable if you
Yikes.
F up Ahsoka.
So
she was without a doubt the best thing to come from the prequels. Ahsoka Tano.
Well, does she appear in the prequels?
Well, I'm just saying the prequels birthed the Clone Wars series.
Sure. Okay, yeah.
She's from that generation of stars.
Yep, I got you.
And also Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan. Hello there. I love you. I love Obi-Wan.
Yeah. And he's very close in age to where Alec. You really believe that?
Oh, it's perfect. We're ready.
That Ewan McGregor became Alec Guinness.
The time is right.
Yeah.
And good casting.
I think he was approaching 30 when he did the prequels, and now he's approaching 50. I think he's 49 now. I think he was in his 20s when he did that, and now he's in about to turn 50.
Yeah. Good on him.
Makes sense. I think Alec Guinness was 70.
All right. It's believable.
Another 20 years has to go by.
Sure.
Or 18 years.
Yeah.
It's believable.
Yeah. A Luke.
The time is right.
A Luke childhood.
Have you
needs to go by.
seen, I heard rumors they're casting a young actor to play a young Luke.
Oh, no, I haven't heard that.
But have you heard any of the interviews that Ewan McGregor's done?
I have not.
He's known for close to 10 years
Mhm.
that they wanted to do this.
Yeah.
And he's just been having to deny it
Yeah.
for like a decade. And they were basically waiting for him
To be the right age.
to be the right age
Oh,
to
that's
tell
funny.
the story.
Yeah.
And every time he appears somewhere, he gets asked, and he's had to, he's known that there was an interest, but he's legitimately known for the last 4 years,
Mhm.
like since 2015, he knew.
Wow.
He's been flat out lying since episode 7.
But he had to.
But contractually he had to. Yeah.
Actually had to lie.
Yep.
So I don't hold that against him.
But that's amazing.
I'm looking
and
forward
it's
to it.
just like
and I
a
hope
relief that he
I
can
hope
talk
goes
about
through.
it. Yeah.
I really hope it goes
It
through.
will absolutely get made. Maybe it'll become a movie again. Maybe it'll be a series. Who knows? But it'll definitely get made.
Yeah.
He's the executive producer on it. He's not going to let it die. His career could use it at this point. His personal life is kind of a fucking mess.
Is it really? That's sad.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
yes.
he's like the number one reason I want to see Birds of Prey.
So his co-star Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who's playing Huntress, is his real-life love interest.
Okay.
Whom he divorced his wife of like 18 years, with which he has 2 daughters with for her.
And she was the one in Long Way Down.
That was, yes, the Long Way Down
Was the wife.
Yes.
Yep.
He did the second season of Fargo. He starred in with Mary Elizabeth Winstead, and their on-screen romance turned into a real romance.
A real romance.
That destroyed his marriage and his home life.
Yeah.
Then he kind of disappeared for a little while, to like
Collect himself.
and kind of do the family thing.
Yeah.
Was with his children
Yeah.
before they went off to college. He took 2 years off before he did another project.
Good for him.
Yeah, but also he needs this.
Yeah.
It's not going away.
Yeah.
This is playing Obi-Wan is going to be his save his
Gonna be his
public.
thing.
Yeah, it's going to be his thing.
Yeah.
I imagine it's going to go on for a fucking long time
If he has anything to say.
if he has anything to say about it.
Absolutely. I'd totally be down for like a Qui-Gon something.
Oh man, I would love. There's another actor who could use it.
Yeah,
Liam Neeson could come back to the fold and like fix his public image through playing Qui-Gon. I loved that character. It was so fun.
Yeah. It was a real shock. Well, let's save it. We're
Real
going to do the
shock.
prequels.
Spoilers.
We're going to do the prequels.
You heard it here. We're gonna do the prequels.
We're going to do the prequels.
Someday we'll make it to 4, 5, and 6, but we're gonna do the prequels.
Yeah. We should do, what we should do? We should do like one Star Wars a year. Not one movie, but like a Star Wars episode.
I would appreciate that at this point.
Yeah.
Star Wars fatigue is a real thing, and I am in the throes.
Yeah. Kind of how I am right now with like superhero stuff too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whew. So this, guys, coming up, we have a lot of
Star Wars free episodes.
Star Wars free, and
we got it out of the way. We ripped that Band-Aid off.
Not a lot of
superheroes.
I mean, there's a couple things coming up this year, and yeah, we're gonna touch on them.
Well, yeah,
but we're gonna be bringing out some
deep cuts,
and just
some real,
some
real left turns.
Yeah, some things that need to be highlighted.
Yeah, that deserve
it.
Yeah.
Maybe not the content we need, but the content we deserve.
Ugh. God damn it.
Harvey Dent. Can he be trusted?
I don't know what you're talking about, Skip.
Shades. I guess that brings us to Shades and Sketch Recommendations. Star Wars, kind of like, we covered like so much in this 2-parter.
We did.
That I feel full. Is that the right adjective?
That is apropos
of Star Wars. However, I will recommend, if you've enjoyed The Mandalorian and you haven't seen them, watching Clone Wars and Rebels, at least the arcs that portrayed the Mandalorians. I think you get some geeking out over.
Why don't you recommend Clone Wars?
Okay.
And I'll recommend Rebels.
Perfect.
That was going to be my recommendation.
Oh,
Star Wars Rebels.
Perfect. And you'd really get some nice backstory too. Other than the fact that there are other stories in them that are fantastic.
Yeah.
It will help you with your Mandalorian viewing.
Fill in the gaps.
Pleasure. Yes. And
those are both viewable on Disney Plus.
Yeah. So
if you don't want to give the mouse any more of your money, you can get it through Amazon Prime. If you don't want to give Amazon any more of your hard-earned credits, then you can go to an actual store and buy some DVDs or Blu-rays. Yeah. I guess the mouse gets your money still, but
the mouse always gets your money.
But you can help out a local business by going to an actual store.
It's like Palpatine. Mouse is Palpatine. Truth. Maybe the mouse is Anakin's real father.
Truth.
Yeah.
Truth.
Shids, you taking anything from this this second part of this two-part Star Wars Spectacular?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Sketch. I'm going to take this disruptor rifle.
It's pretty effing sweet.
Bad, and you can use it as a staff.
And it disintegrates Jawas, bounty hunters.
Whatever you pointed at.
So be careful with that thing. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm going to say,
Sketch, what are you gonna say?
There are just a plethora of...
What are you doing there?
Just discarded helmets.
That is
so I'm just gonna pop this on. Yeah. Now I can never take it off.
Wonderful.
This'll be me. This'll be Sketch forever. Or for as long as I hold the creed.
Great.
People who know me know that my religion is weapons. That's totally me. I can't help it. They're badass looking, so I'm gonna hold on to this helmet.
Yeah. And I'm just gonna stare at this helmet. Forever.
I can make any face I want at you.
You can.
And I can never show you my face again.
Sure.
Maybe you should have gotten the helmet.
Maybe I should have gotten the helmet. You called it before we started recording.
I did. The helmets are so fucking cool.
I think I got a consolation prize. There's plenty of helmets. I'm gonna take a helmet too.
There's plenty of helmets all over the place.
Oh, I can see why you like this.
Yeah, these are great.
Fabulous.
Eating will be hard.
Overrated.
But doable.
But think how slimming this will be.
Yes, it will be. Now we need the rest of the armor, because I do feel like that dubstep group that just wears helmets all the time. Aren't there musicians that just wear helmets all the time?
Yes, that would be. I'm blanking on the name.
Well, we're coming for them.
Yeah,
because we got the Mandalorian helmets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed. I can't think of their name.
That's okay.
Oh well.
I don't hold anything against you.
They did the soundtrack to Tron Legacy.
Oh, I didn't see Tron Legacy.
You didn't miss much.
I also didn't see Tron. Yeah, we should do Tron.
Yeah, we should.
Yep. So, guys, we'll see you next time.
Or will you?
Well, you won't see our faces.
Yeah.
But they haven't ever. So
that's fair.
We'll be wearing the helmets, though.
Next time.
If you'd like to take a more active role in supporting Geeking Out, visit us at patreon.com/shadesansketch.
Our website is shows.acast.com/geekingout.
You can email the show at gowithshadesandsketch@gmail.com or contact us through Facebook or Twitter.
Geeking Out is a production of Tree Cave Creative, LLC. All rights reserved, 2020.